right, guys, trying this again. I know the chat went down, so I don't know what happened there. Let me reshare this link. I was talking to Ben in the chat, and he just said my chat disconnected. So I apologize for any confusion. Let me try to share this in the Facebook group and get everybody in here for this break. Apologize for that. Let me just delete that last post. Try to do this again on Facebook. If you're in here, please say something. Let me know, because I'm having technical difficulties. Completely dropped out. I was doing a personal rip, and I'm gonna wait for somebody to pop in here and say something before we get started. Like for some of you guys to be in here to watch it. That ticks me off when that happens. But is anybody in here? Hey man, I lost. Yeah, it froze up or something. It said the chat was off, but it was still showing me streaming. So hopefully this will work. So we're doing 89 Topps Big. Not the greatest set in the world, but for $1 pack, it's just fun. Maybe we'll get a Hall of Famer that's worth grading or something. These are harder to grade mainly because of centering issues. Huh, that's weird. Ben, you're actually the first pack. You're here. I'm going to roll. I told everybody I was going to be here around 6. So this is pack 1. Hopefully these aren't too hard to open. I remember opening these as a kid and hating them because they were so big. Wouldn't fit in your binder pages. There we go. Got an Ozzie first thing. Ozzie Smith, Hall of Famer. Dan Pasqua. Eric Show. Brian Smith. Johnny Ray. Tony Armas. And Tom Browning. I got some vintage sleeves here. Well, these sleeves are nice. It's not a bad, it's a little off center left or right. Not a bad looking card though for that Ozzie. So there's the first pack. The cat's gonna meow now. Number 2 is David Marshall. So good luck, David. If you're in here, talk to me in the chat. That dang corner on this back one here. Mark Gabitska, I think you'll live. Steve Lyons. Paul O'Neill. Ed Sprague, Team USA. Manny Lee. Rich Gedman. Scott Terry, at least that's for your Cardinals collection, and Mark Gabitska. That was Dave, pack number 2. Everybody's quiet today. Pack 3. Mike G. Got a Mark McGwire on the back here. Glenn Davis. Greg Swindell. Mike Maddox. Jeff Branson, Team USA. Franklin Stubbs. These are pretty off-center. Mike McFarland. And a Mark McGwire. There's some Hall of Famers, mainly in like stars like McGwire. That's really the gist of it, honestly. I think it's Series 3 is the best box, but those are really expensive. The Randy Johnson rookie is in that series, and those boxes sell for a lot of money. But I'm on the lookout for one. Like a PSA 10 can sell for like $1,300, over $1,000. Not the easiest thing to get, but you got Ozzy. I think I posted all the Hall of Famers. Mark McGwire, some people like that. That was pack 3. So on the pack 4, I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. This is the first. We'll probably see a lot of doubles. So you'll probably see a few Ozzie Smiths, a few McGwires. The main thing for this really is just to get star cards, and you might could, if you hit one that's centered nice, you might could grade it. Brett Barbary, Ron Gant, Mickey Hatcher, Pat Tabler, Mike Fiore, Team USA, Harold Reynolds, Kevin Elster. That was Rick Mance pack. I remember I used to, back in the day, buy, there was a place, I'd go buy cheap wax boxes, junk wax, and I would buy Series 3 of 1990, and you would get about 4 Sosas and about 4 Griffeys per box. And I was getting them for $4 a box. Pack 5, Zach Hall. And that was back before I even sold on eBay. I was selling on Yahoo. And I was selling all the cards out of it, doing pretty good. I wish I had those boxes now. I didn't understand grading at that time, so I didn't know what to look for. This is Zach's Oral. Sundberg, Tom Bernansky, Old Ruben Sierra. He was a killer player back in the day. Jose Lind, Nelson Santavina, Dan August. There's some commons in this for sure. I don't know why they picked some of the guys they picked for these sets. Good old Oral Hershiser there. That was pack 5. Zach Hall. Pack 6. David Marshall again. These old solo packs are tough to open after 30-something years. Tracy Woodson. This is pack 6. David Marshall. Rick Dempsey. Crime Dog. Charles Hudson. Jack Morris. That is centered somewhat nicely. And Ron Tingerly. Jack Morris is a Hall of Famer. And so is Fred McGriff. This is pack 6, David Marshall. David, if you watch this later and you don't want all the commons, you let me know and I'll thin your herd out a little bit. Or if any of you don't want all the commons. Some do, some don't. I get it. If you don't want the commons, I'll remember that being your next pack. I think that was David Marshall, pack 6. I opened a ton of Topps Big back in the day, but like I said, it was Topps in 1990. It's been a long time since I really opened them. 7, Alan Hill. Maybe he's got a checklist on the back here. Man. Mickey Brantley. Donnie Baseball. Nice. Terry Leach. Todd Burns. Mark McLemore. Rock Raines. Did all right considering he had a checklist. Doesn't have a bend in them. But I think they would flatten out. It's not wrinkled. I think you put it in a top loader if you wanted it flat. That Raines is off center. Manningley, top to bottom's off center. Yeah, put them in a top loader or put them under something heavy. They're not wrinkled. They just have a bend to them. Now, it's pack 7. Alan Hill. Next up, I believe, is Mike G again. Pack 8. Pack 8 is Mike G. Eddie Whitson. Atlee Hammaker. That's probably considered a Robin Ventura pre-rookie, and that's really good centering. David Berryhill. Brett Butler. Steve Lyons and Paul O'Neill. The Paul O'Neill does have a pretty bad dinged corner. I know it's just Robin Ventura, but I don't know if that's considered his rookie or a pre-rookie. It's centered very nice, and I know Mike could care less about grading, but he might want that for some kind of collection. PC. Hall of Very Good, not a Hall of Famer. Got beat up by Nolan Ryan. But it is centered nicely, I think. I didn't measure it. That's just my first glance. If I was going through this box, that would be one I'd set aside to look over real good. Don't know if it's worth grading or not, though. 9. Back to Rick Mance. Ben, I don't believe there's anybody here but me and you tonight, bud. Jay Howell. Gary Sheffield. That's pretty off-center. Brett Barbary. Ron Gant. Seems like when a pack's off-center, the whole pack is. Pat Tabler. Mike Fiore. So we're starting to see some doubles. That was pack 9. Rick Mance. Up next is Ben Morris. Pack 10. Ben Morris. Good luck, Ben. Got Johnny Baseball on the back. Hopefully he didn't get dinged. I'm going to try to be careful here. I've noticed the back cards are getting dinged. There's a lot of variations in this set. If you look it up on TCDB, I don't know if you can see it. This one has 2 stars before the 1989. So there's a lot. Oh, there's a card stuck. Junior Ortiz. Let's see what we got here. Rene Gonzalez. Centering it horrible. Gruber. Terry Steinbach. Juan Castillo. Mickey Brantley. Donnie Baseball. Junior Ortiz. Another Mattingly. It's off top to bottom. It's worth a top loader probably. Who is this? 9-10. Ben Morris. That Mattingly's worth a top loader in my opinion, but probably not worth grading. There's a reason why PSA 9s and 10s sell for good money in this stuff. Some of this stuff is because they're hard to get. I like looking for them. That was pack 10. That's a nice Mattingly, though, for the personal collection, in my opinion. Pack 10. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm still in debate of what I'm going to do going forward with grading. David Marshall's next. whether I want to use PSA or whether I want to use SGC or whether I want to just say the heck with it and try CGC. I really don't know. Another CGC. I bet if you cracked it and sent it again, you'd get a different grade. This is pack 11, David Marshall, Chuck Finley, Bruce Benedict, Mel Hall, Herm Winningham, Carney Lansford, Jim Presley, Dave Valley. That's pretty lackluster there. Yeah, that's my thing with PSA is like their slabs, okay. They got the best value, but they freaking take forever to grade anything. And who wants their cards gone 4, 5, 6 months? I've never got good customer service with them. I'm locked out of my old account with the registry and stuff. They won't change it for me because I can't access my old email since I moved. I've messaged them. I'm like, well, if y'all don't do this, you know, you're going to have to reset all of my cards that are in that registry to another registry. I've not done that yet because I'll have to scan and prove I own all the cards. Hal Sauceman, pack 12 and 13. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, yeah, that's right. So I got to redo my whole registry stuff if I want to do all that again, because they won't change my freaking email on my account. I can tell them my password. I can tell them what cards I have and everything. That one's top to bottom's off. Ed Sprague, which who would grade that anyway? Manny Lee, Rich Gedman, Scott Terry, Mark Gubitska, Greg Brock, and Rich Renteria. That was pretty lackluster pack there. That's pack 12. I think he got 13 as well. Yeah, so we're just going to put them together. Save a team bag. Got Barry Bonds on the back. Really wish he wasn't on the back. He's not dinged. We'll see how he looks when we flip him over. Got a crime dog. So off this side's got a narrow border, so Charles Hudson, Jack Morris, that I would measure that, but that's pretty nicely centered. Tim Leary, Ron Tingley, Roberto Alomar, centering ain't bad on that one either, and Barry Bonds. It's got a more narrow border on this side. But you got 2 Hall of Famers and some say the home run king. Depends on your opinion. The books say that. The record books. That was a good pack. Hal Morris. Two Hall of Famers, and probably will be a Hall of Famer one day with Bonds. So good pack. Ben, if you only submitted to PSA and Beckett, you submitted to Beckett. I won't submit to Beckett. I just don't like Beckett. Oh, I don't want to seal. Yeah, I've got some SGC cards. I've never submitted myself. A buddy of mine sent one of my cards off one time. 13-14's Allen Hill. I've never sent one myself. I'd probably just crack it and send it to another company instead of having them fix it. This is pack 14 again. Allen Hill. Got Terry Leach, Todd Burns, Mark McLemore, Brock Rains. It is off center. Checklist. Chuck Finley, Bruce Benedict. I don't know. I've never cracked one of them either. They're that thicker plastic. I imagine they're a little tougher. I would think they were a little tougher to crack, but good pair of end nippers or something would probably do the trick. I've cracked PSA holders, but I've never cracked a Beckett. Got a Tim Raines for Mr. Allen Hill. $15, I think, is back to Hal Sauceman. Yep. Did you get a grade on it? Or are you still waiting on it? The Caleb Williams you cracked. Still waiting for the grades. So you sent it to PSA. I always say if the grade don't fit, you must resubmit. 14, been a couple months. That's pathetic. Hal Sauceman's pack here. Ron Tingery. Roberto Alomar. It's kind of got it looks weird to me. It doesn't look centered good. There's a Barry Bonds. Looks pretty nice. Oral Hershiser, Sundberg, and Bernansky. We'll sleeve that Bonds. Bonds, nice looking card. It's got a bit of a bend to it, but it's not creased. I think it's just the way they are in the pack. I noticed a few of them are like that. So that's a couple Barry Bonds, a couple McGriffs that showed up so far. I've got another box. I don't know whether I'll see what the consensus is. I might rip it myself. I get the itch to rip some stuff myself and send it in. I'm only going to send in stuff I want for my collection, though, I think. I used to send in stuff to PSA, and I'd always send a few cards that I would sell to try to pay for my order. 16. Back to Rick Mance. That's how I always did it, was send 15 or so cards in and 20. have 5 or 6 that, if you got 9s and 10s, would help pay for the whole order. But I haven't seen anything in a few years. Pack 16, Rick Mance, Mike McFarland. Got a Mark McGwire. It's really heavy on the bottom, the border is. Albert Hall, Doug Robbins, Bruce Sutter, Ninja Shays, and Eddie Whitson. I know Sutter's pedophiles at PSA. So we got the McGwire. You got any thoughts on CGC, Ken? I know they're not selling for as much, but I really like their holders. From what I've seen, and I know they're not selling for as much, but I was more talking for like stuff I want for my collection. And then SGC is owned by the same company as PSA now, so I actually have fear they're going to go out. I don't know what they're going to do with PSA. I don't like it. Everybody's got their opinions. But who knows? All right, pack 17. Oh, enabling. Yeah, if they're doing that, you're right. Exactly. That's one reason I've stayed off of Whatnot after all that. I never got on there but a time or two before, but I don't want nothing to do with that crap. If you're going to let people like that operate on your platform, I don't want nothing to do with you. If you're grading for PC, CGCs are where you'd go. That's when I'm starting to link. I think I was talking to a pretty well respected guy in the hobby. I'll say that much on YouTube. We text back and forth, and he said the same thing about CGC. Back to House Sauceman. Got Harold Reynolds, Kevin Elster, Glenn Davis, Greg Swindell, Mike Maddox, Jeff Branson, and Franklin Stubbs. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, everybody's argument is PSA is where the money is, but it ain't all about money. Sometimes you got to stand up for things. You're right there. $17 was Hal Sauceman. Hal, I wish I hit you a better card there, bud. Yeah, I think older cards look good in SGC holders, but not some new stuff. On the pack 18, David Marshall again. They never replied, huh? Not surprised. Whose pack did I say this was? 18, David Marshall. The back card is rocked pretty hard with a corner ding. Wes Striker. You can look at that corner. I don't know if you guys can see it, but rocked pretty hard. I'm just going to chunk that one. Greg Brock, Rich Renteria, John Smiley, Carlton Fisk. I don't think I would grade it. Roger Clemens, looking pretty good. And Tino That one I'd want to measure, but I think this border's a little small. That might be. Is that a pre-rookie for Tino? I know David ain't gonna want nothing but the good cards out of this stuff, or the better players. Give them hell, Ken. Yeah, I couldn't believe they were like joining forces with all these people, and those guys should have been banned off the platform and just shut down. But you know what, Ken? People have short memories and they'll forget about it. Guarantee you. They'll forget about it. They'll go right back to them. Like nothing ever happened. '19, Hal Sauceman. Yeah, nobody will, Ken. They say the best way to vote is with your wallet, but everybody keeps on feeding the PSA collector's machine. I hated it when they bought SGC because I had a lot of respect for SGC, and I liked the guy that was representing SGC at the time. Do it after you're done shopping. Rob Deere, Cecil Espy, who's this 19, Hal Sauceman. Yep, you're exactly right. Junior Ortiz, Nate Gonzalez, Kelly Gruber, and Tim Leary. That was another dud pack. I just, man, I can't see spending that much money going to the National. There's people I'd love to meet there. That's about the only reason I'd like to go. I don't think I could stand to walk it with my back right now. But if I was able to, I'm not sure I'd go. You could spend your money so much wiser elsewhere. You could buy a lot of cards for that thousands of dollars it would cost to go to the National. And that's all we're going to see for the next month is National videos on YouTube. And I watch a lot of YouTube because I'm not really into TV shows. And I freaking hate it because I'm like, that's all I'm going to see. I'd like to go one time just to meet some of my online friends that I know would be there. This is Pack 20. This is Ben Morris, Franklin Stubbs, Mike McFarland. Pretty nice Mark McGwire, Albert Hall, Doug Robbins. I can see why these things bring money when they grade high because the centering is tough. Bruce Sutter, he is a Hall of Famer, but I kind of consider him a Deshays low grade Hall of Famer. Nobody much collects him. Yeah. Well, you're more out to find stuff you're into at that. I probably can than the National. You'd be better off at a card show in North Carolina with what you collect, Ken. Add to your Dale PC. Yeah, Suter don't get much respect. Good player, but not a ton of people collect him. I guess there's different levels of Hall of Famers. I think my kitty cat's got locked in the laundry room. $21. Back to Hal Sauceman. Good old Hal bought a bunch of packs. I wish he'd get lucky here and get something good. Yeah, I've seen some of your posts, man. You picked up some nice Earnhardts. I never got to meet him. I delivered. I lived in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I used to drive a welding supply truck, and I delivered to some of their shops a couple times, like Richard Childress Racing, but never got to meet Dale. Been in his shop, but never got to meet him. Mel Hall, Herm Winningham. Who are we on? 21. Hal Sauceman, Carney Lansford, Jim Presley, Dave Valley. That's the first time I think I've seen him in here. Dave Stewart and Paul Runge. I don't think Stewart's not a Hall of Famer. He's in the Hall of Very Good, I guess. Ken, what do you consider? I'm kind of a purist when it comes to rookie cards, so I believe they should be pack issued. What do you consider Dale's rookie? The was the '89 Max. I know he had an '88 they were later released, but do you consider the '89 Max his rookie or? And I know he had that Uno card. I never could get a hold of it. The little bit I dabbled in NASCAR. I did own one STP card from '72. I think it was Buddy Baker. I think. Don't quote me on that. Ben Phelps, 22. Here we go, Benny. Hope you're still here. Maybe we'll get you something. Got a Dean corner on your Eric show that you're gonna not want anyway. So, so we know the back cards. No, Fred Manrique. Yeah, the Uno card. That one's hard as heck to get though. Manrique, Sid Bream, Jody Reed. There's a Tony Gwynn. It's OC. Oh, Anna the Wizard. Good pack. This box. They're both just slightly off center. Eric Show. But you got a Gwynn and a Smith. Yeah, that's the problem with racing is they didn't make cards the whole time. So if you go by the rules, Richard Petty's rookie is an '88 Max. GameStop, here I come. I don't think either one of these are worth grading. Yeah, I mean, I could see where you put an asterisk, kind of like Victor, the rookie card specialist, says on the Uno and some other stuff. Like Petty, you kind of got to say the '72 STP, really, but it wasn't widely issued, so I'd love to own that card. was pack 22. I'm not going to dabble back into, I sold part of my collection, and I'm not going to dabble back into racing again. It just, to me, I don't care about it like I used to. Pack 23, Zach Call, the modern racing is completely, yeah, it's just, it ain't what it was when I was a kid. I loved NASCAR when I was a kid, but I don't love it now. Here in the UFC, I could see that. My only thing about UFC is the guys don't last because they only got so many fights in them, and then they kind of fade away. It seems like maybe. So pack 23, Zach Hall, Roberto Alomar. They're Barry Bonds, but it's top bottom heavy. Oral, Sundberg, Bernansky, Ruben Sierra. Probably the nicest card of that pack's Bonds, and it's OC top to bottom. Pretty nice left to right, though. 23, Zach Hall. Yeah, I've just never got into IndyCar, and I've got nothing against it. I just don't know anything about it. I know my GameStop. I know Benny mentioned GameStop. They got a box of those F1 cards. She's like, I don't know who in the heck's going to buy these. I think GameStop is just sending their corporates just sending out random hobby boxes to stores. I did buy a football hockey box that was a few years old there that we're going to do in an upcoming break. Yeah, I mean, I used to like Bill Elliott, and Dale Earnhardt. I'm going back and forth here in conversations, I guess. 24 is Alan Hill. And I grew up in North Carolina a little bit. That's where I'm from. So them guys are like local heroes. Dale, all that stuff, They were like local. I remember riding by Dale Earnhardt's, or not, Richard Childress's shop, going to my uncle's. Ooh, this one's got several Dean cards. That one, the whole pack took a hit. Dang. Whose is this? 24. Alan, I'm sorry, this whole pack's took a hit. Hopefully there's nothing to worry about in it. I'm going to be sick if there's a nice centered Hall of Famer. There's not. That whole pack shot. 24. 25, Mike G. You never know with this old stuff. So that's 25, Mike G. My aunt used to live right in front of North Wilkesboro Speedway. So, but yeah, it just ain't the same anymore. I don't think they can bring it back. Yeah. Smiley. Nice Carlton Fisk. That's centered nicely. Roger Clemens. Not too bad. And the Tino. It's a good pack. The centering on those aren't horrible. Enrique and Bream. I'd probably look them over good, but I think it's a dying sport. It just doesn't seem to be anybody getting into it. I think I'm still in the little Facebook group of card collectors, and I see their posts, but I don't even see the cards in Walmart anymore, really. The new product for NASCAR. I kind of imagine they're not making a ton of it. I mean, we did a few NASCAR breaks here. It was fun. That wasn't a bad pack for Mike. Hobby Greed and Arrogance. Rick Mance on 26. Ben, you got a couple packs. 2 packs in a row coming up here. So maybe you'll get lucky. Never knew if you named his name Bryn or Brian Smith. 26 is Rick Mance, that's right. Johnny Ray. Steve Joltz. Jay Bunner. Oh, okay. Jeff Robinson. Mike Marshall. Jose Akendo. I noticed I haven't seen any in a while in Walmart. At least that I don't pay as much attention. I used to would buy one every now and then, but I just I don't even follow it or keep up with it anymore. My stepdad was a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. My dad hated Dale Earnhardt. My dad hauled Fords, so he drove a car carrier and hauled Fords most of the time. So in the early 80s, we were Bill Elliott fans in that house. 27 and 28 are going to be Ben. So the next 2 packs are Ben Phelps. Chuck Finley, Bruce Benedict, Mel Hall, Herm Winningham, Carney Lansford, Jim Presley, and Dave Valley. So nobody of any significance there. On the Ben's next pack, that's 27 and 28. Yeah, NASCAR killed off its fan base, I guess. Left them behind. John Smiley. And Carlton Fisk. There we go. Roger Clemens. I think the bottom's a little heavy. Tino. That might be a pre-rookie. I'm not sure on that. Enrique Sid Bream. I'll put them 3 in penny sleeves for you, Ben. Tino looks pretty nice, but I think the bottom's heavier than the top on the border. Clemens, I think probably the same issue. And Fisk, yeah, it's definitely, I'd measure that one. Look it over good. Not sure if I'd look at the pop reports too. If you even think about sending it in, make sure it's on a cheap special. That's how you like the one. Yeah. We need it evened out with the cards, though. Oh, let's see, 29, 30, and 31. So 29, 30, 31 are all house. Let's get house something decent looking here. That's just something cheap and fun to rip, junk wax. Hope you get super lucky. There's a Jim Rice. That's the first time I've seen that one in this box. Off center, left or right. Petrelli, Mike Scott. There's George Brett popping up. Danny Tartable, Carmen Castillo, and Jody Davis. So we got some different ones showing up here at the bottom of the box. My kids are arguing about something in the kitchen very loudly. Oh, Jack Morris. It's dinged corner. I think this pack took a ding. Tim Leary, Ron Kingerly, Roberto Alomar. Yeah, everyone's got a ding, even the Barry Bonds. I'll stick those in there just in case, but Oral, Sunbird. And Dave Stewart, Paul Runge, Greg Walker, Jay Howell, Gary Sheffield. Is that his? That might be. Is that Sheffield's rookie year? 89 was Sheffield's rookie. Was it not? Was it 88? Barbary and Ron Gant. We'll put all these in one holder. Yeah, that's what I thought. 89 for Sheffield. They don't list it as his rookie, probably because it's an offset. It's not a regular base set. I don't think they called 89 Topps big and 88, 90 and all that. Rookies. I guess with the old school rookie rules, that doesn't apply. Sheffield looks nice. I'm going to put the Morris and the Bonds in the same sleeve because they're both dinged corners. Maybe he can do some Kurtz card carry on them. Brett looks pretty nice. I don't think CSG does larger size cards yet, though. If you wanted to submit them to CSG, Jim Rice is off center, but that's the first one of him we've seen in this box. So that's a rookie year Sheffield. think that's Sheffield, and another card in there. It was pretty nice looking, though. At least worth putting in a top loader for your collection, in my opinion. 32, David Marshall. I'm going right back to Hal again. I think next time I do this, I'm just like going to have 4 people, or maybe, I don't know, 6 people, and you get so many packs instead of doing it pack by pack. $32, David Marshall, Mel Hall, Herm Winningham, Carney Lansford, Jim Presley. Man, we're seeing them a lot. Dave Valley, Dave Stewart, Paul Runge. Wah, wah, wah. 33, back to Hal Sauceman. We're about done with this box. Gotta see who's after him. And my list ended up taking up 2 pages. 34 is Rick Mance. Okay, so 33 is Hal, Rick, then Hal, and then Ben, you got the last pack. Hal Sauceman, Brian Smith, Johnny Ray. Seems like I got Steve Jilt's TTM back in the day. Jay Bunner, Jeff Robinson, Mike Marshall, Jose Akendo. Hal, you're striking out on these tonight, I believe. I got 289 Donruss boxes I want to do sometime soon. Hunt for Griffies, and I got 291 Fleer basketballs I want to do. A hunt for Jordans. Rick Mance. Is that Sweet Lou? I ain't seen a Sweet Lou. Lou Whitaker. Yeah, I'm not seeing him in this box till now. Coming up in different cards on the bottom of the box. Tom Bernansky for Rick. Ruben Sierra, we've seen that one. Jose Lind. Santavinia, we've seen him. Don August. Dave Magadan. And Sweet Lou Whitaker. Off center. The right's got a narrower border. I'll sleeve the Sweet Lou. He might be a Hall of Famer one day. Always liked watching him. I was 34. Rick Mance. This is incredibly exciting. 2 packs left and we're done. Hal Sauceman and then Benny. Kung Fu Benny. He hasn't fell asleep. Still here? Oh, you're hanging in there, buddy. All right, this is Hal, Fiore, Harold Reynolds, Kevin Elster, Glenn Davis, Greg Swindell, Mike Maddox, Jeff Branson. Man, Hal, I'm sorry, buddy. You got some rough packs in this one. You don't want all these base cards. You just let me know if you watch this later. If you do want them, I gladly send them. They're packaged up. All right, Ben's going to get a Gem Mint 10 here, last pack. It's not going to be on this Danny or Pat Tabler on the back, though. Greg Walker, Jay Howell, Sheffield. I'd measure that one. Hopefully LeBron. That's a rookie year Sheffield, and no, I'd measure them borders and look and see if it's worth grading. Also, Ron Gant, Mickey Hatcher, and Pat Tabler. That's probably the only card you want out of that. Find my vintage top loaders. But I'm going to put this one in a... Well, they're going to make this fun to get into. I'll put it in a semi-rigid at least for you. They won't fit in a regular top loader. Trying out some of this penny sleever stuff. If you want to sub it, you'll have it ready to go because I'm putting it in a semi-rigid for you. I might would sub it just to see if I could get a 9 on it myself. It's just dust. It's clean, but cool looking card. See if this will fit in here. Ben's young enough, he might not even care who Gary Sheffield is. You ain't got to, man. You just look at it, measure it, and I'd look at the pop report. That's his rookie year. I think Sheffield's got a chance at the Hall of Fame, maybe. But it looks good to me. Like just I'd get out of something to measure the border, but that's one of the better cards I've seen in the box. Might have a little bit of a touch corner there. That might would hold it back. I don't know about the corners, man. But you can look at it and you ain't got to send it off on my account, but I'd look it over. I kind of worry about those corners. I know. That's crazy, isn't it? Well, guys, I appreciate it. I'm going to get off here. It's Sunday. I got a lot of cards to sort, get everybody's stuff ready for this week. Appreciate it, everybody. Ken, appreciate you coming and hanging out. And I'll talk to everybody later on. Y'all take care.